Good morning, children. See, we already started now 12th chapter. What is the name of the 12th chapter? Cultural and traditional changes in which continent? Europe. In between 1300 to 1800 AD. Okay. See, we already discussed that how in ancient times Roman Empire flourished in Europe. Later, how it declined or destroyed. And again, in the medieval period, we discussed the features of medieval period, like feudalism and the religious aspects. That how the religion played important role in life of the people. Later, in modern period, we discussed what was that actually the revival or rebirth of culture. It was a movement called Renaissance. So we have gone through that as a part of Renaissance. The first concept or ideology which expanded in Europe, what it has been named humanism. That we discussed humanism. Next one, as a part of humanism, that how it has been expanded to art. That's what called realism, isn't it? Art. Next, we go through the third one as a part of realism, which has been developed in Europe. This is what actually called architecture. Architecture. Do you know, children, what is architecture? Yeah, very good. So it's nothing but construction of buildings or monuments. So this is what the subject called architecture. You might have seen that many beautiful architecture monuments in our country also, which were built by our kings, empires in the ancient times. You know that one of the oldest university in the world, which was located in India, you know? Yeah, it's what called Nalanda University in Bihar. So like this kind of monuments or structures, buildings which were constructed in ancient times, they were what actually called architecture. So architecture is also part of what is it, the science called archaeology, that we study now the ruined buildings or the things which were used by ancient people. They are what actually for part of archaeology. Okay, we go through the European architecture. Here, when you observe these buildings, see children, what you can see here in these buildings? Yeah, can you find tall pillars here? Here you see the tall pillars, isn't it? So they are very tall, no? Tall pillars you can observe here. And also you can find arch. You see here, you can find here arches. In the second picture you find arch. You know that even today we also, when we construct any building or house, we may mostly design what the entrance gate, which is what arch. So which is mostly what we find in a semicircle, isn't it? Next you see this is what wonderful structure. This is what he called, you know, children, this structure you find the roof structure. This is what actually called dome. What is this structure called, children? Dome, which you mostly find here. It looks like a circle, isn't it? Dome shape. So mostly ancient Rome buildings were mostly built in this model. You find mostly in this model only you can observe. They are what called dome shape. Okay. Now we see here, architectures studied the ruin of old buildings to revive the old style, Roman style. As we discussed now, Renaissance is nothing but revival of ancient culture, ancient tradition of particularly Rome. You see that here, what did they do? Architects who are designers of buildings, new buildings, they also studied the ancient buildings, their ruins. That means some of them were destroyed, no? So their ruins and all, old buildings. So they studied how tall they were. They used pillars, dome shape, like arches and all. Okay, even you see that the popes actively encouraged this kind of style, particularly. Why? Because to construct a new kind of what we find churches in Europe. So popes also encourage this kind of. So this kind of style has been inspired in architecture, was actually what we find imperial Roman style. That means these kind of revival of the imperial Roman style, which were constructed in ancient times. That means during the time of emperor's rule. So these kind of styles were there. So that's why they are what actually called classic. You see here, they are what actually called, children, here, classic. You know that classic we have in music also, classic music, classical music, western music. That means what? The classical music is what? The music which is being carried forward from ancient times. Like for our, in our country we have different classical musics like Carnatic music, Hindustani music, and also you find when you take the dances, you find like Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi. So these are what actually called classical dances. So like that here, what did they use here? They did not make any new kind of designs in constructing new buildings. What did they do here? They revive. That means they again gone through the ancient culture, ancient buildings. They studied ancient buildings, and they try to make this impart, or they try to make the design of new buildings with old tradition. That's why they are what actually called classical. Okay. Now, who are the people actually in society did encourage all these things? Like popes. We already discussed now, because they are the head of the religion, Christianity. Because in order to construct churches and all new churches, so they need new kind of style. Next, who are the wealthy merchants? Wealthy merchants, do you know who are the wealthy merchants? Businessmen. So who need some kind of new style, new kind of buildings and all. Even today you see that some rich people, they may be constructing their houses and all with different styles and all. Elevation you find outside, you may find using different designs and all. And also we find other kind of people in the society who are they called aristocrats. Aristocrats, wealthy merchants, and popes. Who are the aristocrats? As we already discussed, children, these people are highly respectable people in the society. So their status was very high. They were given respect, privilege in the society. So these people employed architects who are experts in making design of these kind of classical architecture. So who are familiar with the classical architecture. So that means who can make the design of a classical architecture of Rome. So that means following the old tradition. Okay. So in this manner, even you see that some of the artists and sculptures. So sculptures were also to decorate buildings with paintings and sculptures you find here. So this is what some of the artists and all, they were recruited here for this purpose, to make design of new this what we find, decorate buildings with paintings and sculptures. Okay. And another remarkable change is that what in this form we find, artists were known individually by name, not as a member of a guild. You see that, children, here you come across this word in the previous class also, guild. You know that what is it actually, guild here? Guild is nothing but a group of workers who used to have a group in ancient times. Even in India also we used to have during the time of Chola's empire in south. So there were some group of people who were actually workers, artisan groups. So they were actually formed as guild. But here in modern times, what happened here, there were no guilds, there were no group of people But here individually they were having some recognition in the society. Individual గా ఎవరికి వాళ్ళకి recognition ఉండేది అనమాట. Okay, you see here one of the great constructions which was happened during this period. What is the name of this construction, you know, children? You can find it in Rome, the capital of Italy. You might have seen in many of the movies also, Telugu movies also. What is it? Saint Peter's Square. It's what actually called Saint Peter's Square. And next one you find the Basilica. Basilica is actually what the church. So this is actually Saint Peter's Square, the Basilica Church. We find and the court in front of it was designed by several artists. It was designed by several artists because it is a huge construction. It could not be done by one person. So but major people who led this construction, we have seen no Michelangelo. We have studied no artist in the movement of realism artist, and Berni were the two people, major people who led this movement or making of design and construction, who are the leaders of this one. So this uses many architectural ideas from ancient Rome. You see that because it's not a single construction, it's a huge construction. You can observe here tall pillars, isn't it? You can see the dome shape also you can observe here. So the same kind of style which were actually followed in the ancient times by the Romans, so the same kind of styles were also here followed by these people. Okay children, you see that beautiful construction with the colorful pictures and all inside you find. Okay, this is what actually the paintings of Michelangelo, who was a great painter. And also you find Sistine Chapel. You find the Sistine Chapel. This is the place called Sistine Chapel, which was painted by Michelangelo, one of the great painters of this period. Okay, you see this is what actually the dome shape. You can observe here the church, Saint Peter's Basilica, Rome Church. This is one of the popular churches in the world. Okay, you can observe here dome shape. This is what children actually called dome shape. Inside, this is inside, this is outside. You find dome shape, isn't it? So this was actually designed by whom? Bramante and Michelangelo. So in every work almost you find the involvement of Michelangelo, because he was one of the genius persons by this time. You find here, you see here he is also one of the great painters, Filippo Brunelleschi. Okay, you see here Duomo of Florence. This is what actually Duomo of Florence. Florence actually one of the cities, no city states we discussed. This is what Duomo of Florence, which was designed by this Filippo, as we have seen no his photo here. Okay, next three children here. After architecture, the major important aspect of this period is printing press. See, do you know children printing press? We all know that, we are all aware of books. We are having many textbooks. We are using textbooks or some other books in our library and all. So how do we get all these books? Because they are all printed one. Do you know who was the first man actually started printing of books in the world? Earlier mostly we know that all the texts were handwritten, isn't it? Mostly in our country also. In our country they used to write on palm leaves, isn't it? Later you see that clothes they were used. Later Chinese people they used paper, isn't it? So when paper was invented, they what actually first they used to write with hands. It was a very long, very difficult task, no, writing everything. So these are what actually you find here. Old handwritten Bible. This is what actually the book of Christians, holy book, old handwritten Bible. So this is written by people. And later we see that Chinese people, as we discussed now, they developed paper and printing with blocks. You know children, blocks means here you find they make small box. In that you find letters. So every time while you are printing a word, we have to change the blocks. It was also a very difficult task. Okay, you see that these were actually the earliest known printing book using wood blocks. You see that even you find in our Rajahmundry also, you find in some of the printing presses, you find this kind of wood blocks. But it was a very difficult task for every time while you are printing text, a word, you find. So we have to arrange the letters. It's a very difficult task. Okay. What is it actually known as? The Diamond Sutra of 868. So shows the widespread availability and what is it particularly of paper in China. So Chinese were the first people who did use this one. And in modern times, so this was the man who has played important role in making printing of books with the new technology. That is what called printing press. What is it called? Printing press. He was the first man who used this technology, printing press. Okay, you see here, what is his name? Johannes Gutenberg. What is his name? Johannes Gutenberg. He belongs to the country called Germany. So in between 1458, it was the life history, okay, of Johannes Gutenberg. You see that this was actually earliest printing press, so which was used by Johannes Gutenberg. You find some of the pictures here, how they are doing printing here. Okay, and because of this reason, what happened when this printing press was invented by Johannes Gutenberg? So he printed the first book in his printing press. What is it? The Bible. So the Bible, which was a holy book of Christians. Okay, the Bible was printed in 1455, nearly about 150 copies in his workshop. So where he printed the book Bible. Okay, so you see that you can observe this picture in this picture, the printed Bible here. Okay, later what happened? This led to a remarkable change in printing process of books. So earlier what you find, earlier that monks used to take much time for what we all know, that because the books were mostly handwritten, so it used to take much time for them. So but what happened by 1500, many of the classic texts which were mostly in the language like Latin in Italy, Latin and Italy, so they were all actually printed in using the printing press. So does it lead to speed in printing? Yeah, why? Because it's a mission. No. So what is the effect of this printing press we find here? What is the effect we have here? Students in earlier times, they used to write actually with handwritten books. So they did not have to depend solely on the lecture notes. So in ancient times, there were no books, no. So every time they have to write when they are listening some lecture. Okay, so this could hereafter there is no need of writing lectures, notes and all. Why? Because there are printing books are there. Next, ideas and opinions and information which was moved widely and more rapidly even before. Why? Because many number of books have been printed. So thousands and thousands of books have been printed because of the new missionary called printing press. Next, what happened? New printed books have been increased the new thoughts among hundreds of readers. As you know, children, when you read books, you can get many thoughts in your mind. That's why we teachers are asking you to read books regularly. Reading is the best habit of inculcating thinking in your minds. So when you read more books, your mind will work accurately or quickly. It will think many things. So that's why you should have to read books. Okay, so because of promoting new ideas, new books have been printed. So the people have developed new kinds of ideas. Reading has become the major habit of the people. So even we know that in our school also we have a library. So we love reading. The government has started the program called We Love Reading. Why? Because children, we should have to inculcate this habit among ourselves. So reading is the best habit among all the habits in order to acquire knowledge. Okay, and even if I see here, the chief reason for this, what you find, humanist culture, as we discussed, humanist culture of Italy, it spread widely, rapidly, particularly through the northern and western European countries by the end of 15th century. Because of what reason? Printed books. Because of printed books have been circulated. We see that when number of books have been circulated, so we can have the chance to read them, isn't it? When number of books have been printed, that's why you should have to read books. Okay, you see children, here you can find some of the pictures related to this one. Okay, up to here you have to read the textbook. See, every day I am telling you, read the textbook, read the textbook. So, and you have to write the points also. So this should be done by you every day, because reading is the best habit. Okay, thank you.